A very warm welcome in the class of Mathematics 1. Today we are under the topic of volumes and surfaces of revolution. This is the first class on this particular topic and this comes under the module of integral calculus. Myself Rupak Bhattacharjee, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, JIS College of Engineering. So, before entering into this topic, we need some prerequisites for understanding this concept. They are, first of all, the idea of definite integration. We all know the concept of definite integration and how to solve the problems related to definite integration. You can treat this topic as application of definite integration also, and this is having a beautiful physical interpretation when this definite integration is applied to find out the main target of this particular topic, that is the required volume and surface of that particular material or body which is generated by revolution of a curve. So the next thing is that we need this revolution of a curve. The concept of this one means when a curve is given, if it revolves, then the question will come that on what axis it will revolve. So it can revolve with respect to x-axis, it can revolve with respect to y-axis, even if it can revolve with respect to a given straight line. So we have to make our idea clear that when the curve revolves with respect to a given or specified axis, what type of structure is going to be generated, and if we can visualize this, then only the calculation related to the surface area or the volume generated by the revolution will be more clear. And finally, we also have to get a very clear and strong idea on geometry, because this idea will give us, or rather this idea will help us to visualize the whole thing. And if it is not possible for us to visualize, then it will be merely a calculation, but we will not be able to understand why we are doing this, what is the benefit of this one, and what is the application of this particular topic. So let us start the topic. First of all, you please see that there is a structure generated, but if in any case if you see that at this moment it is a curve, and then what you see, look at this, then one curve is there like this, and then with respect to one axis, suppose this one, when it is moving and there is x-axis and there is suppose x equal to b line and this is your y-axis. So this particular thing, when it is going to be revolving, then this revolution is actually generating this particular structure. So it is not possible for me to draw this moving body. That is why this GIF is presented to you, so that you can understand that the revolution of a curve with respect to one axis, how it generates a volume. And if we go for the next illustration, then it will help us a lot. Look at this. This is one illustration. What we can see here, this particular thing is like a volume. If we see that there is one axis, suppose this is one and this is the point of axis, this one, and this surface, this curve actually is revolving with respect to this axis. Okay, so when it is revolving, and if this is something like that, a sheet, suppose this is a sheet like this, and this sheet is now revolving with respect to this axis, then what is generated? This sheet is here, next time this sheet will be here, then next time the sheet will be here, after a certain time the sheet will be here, after a certain time the sheet will be going downwards. So there you will see one volume will be generated like this, and this volume will be something like this structure. So this is the visualization part of this volume generation by a revolution of a curve with respect to a given axis. Now, if we go further in the mathematical point of view, what we see, to get a solid of revolution, we start out with a function y equal to fx. So this is our y equal to fx, and on an interval a to b, so this is a and this is b given. Now, if we rotate this curve about the given axis, here it is x axis, then the surface of the solid of revolution we will get. So look at this, this is your curve, this curve is here, this is your x axis, and it is suppose revolving in this direction. Then by every rotation you are going to generate every sheets like this. So this whole thing, if this solid thing is generated by the rotation of this curve with respect to x axis, so this blue part is actually the surface generated by this revolve, and this yellow part, that means which is the solid one, if you think about in the inner part of this covered area, it is the solid of revolution generated by this particular phenomenon. Now we want to determine the volume of this interior of this object, and then it will be giving us the requirement that the volume of revolution is what of this curve. Now how to calculate? So please think about the structure and make a breaking of the structure like this circular plates. You can think about it is a cylinder also with a very less height, and this is the radius of this one cylindrical surface. So what you see, according to the depth of this one and according to the depth of this one, these cylinders will be of various shapes, and it is also mentioned by some colors. If you see that there are various number of discs. Now one can ask, sir, what is the number? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So it has to be 12? No, it can go from 12 to 120, 120 to 100, 1200 and so on. That means whenever it is growing, the number of circular discs are growing higher, what you will get, this thickness will be lesser and going to be tentatively to 0, infinitesimally small, and we will find out the area, the volume of each and every cylinder like or cylindrical shapes like this, and we will sum them up. Then we will get this one. The question is whether it will be error free. Will it be error free? Because we are seeing that we are considering some cylinders, though in some cases the area is not there, we are considering like this one, and some cases there is some area but we have not considered because my cylinder is lesser than this area. So how to manage this one? And here you will see the beauty of the integration. So this is the diagram what we have converted from the last picture. What we take, that this is del x, okay, this is our starting point x equal to a, this is our finishing point x equal to b, and this is the area. What is this area? This area is denoted as a xn star. What is the meaning of a xn star? Look at this. A xn star means this surface, and this is the depth, or you can see that this is the height. So if we want to find out the volume of suppose only this one, then what is our job? Our job is to multiply this area with this particular del x. So what we get, Vn at nth position is Axn, that means the area of this circular plate, into del xn, like the cylindrical surface. But we need this particular thing to be summed up with all of this. So how many number of cylindrical surfaces we have considered, suppose 1 to n. So it will be I equal to 1 to n AXI star means this area into del x, because in every cases we have taken the thing is same del x, so every time it will be multiplied by del x. So if you break it up, it is nothing but AX1 star del x, that means this area, then AX2 star into del x, that means this area, AX3 star into del x, that means this area, and so on. So if you sum them up, you will get the whole area. But the problem is, as there are some errors in this particular calculation, these errors will be minimized if we make this del x very small, and if you make this del x very small, the number of circular discs will be high. So if this del x is small for our error free material, then n will be high, so n will be tending to infinity. So that is why we can think it in different way, that if we take n tending to infinity, then del x will be very small and our calculation will be error free. That is why we are trying to calculate the limiting value of n tends to infinity. Summation I runs from 1 to n AXI star del x, that is nothing but the definite integration of AX dx a to b, because it will start from a and it will end at b. So what we see, that this definite integration is now required to calculate the generated volume. So we will proceed further. What we see, that this is the simplest example, that x equal to a and x equal to b are the two terminal lines and y equal to fx is the given curve, and we are rotating it with respect to x-axis, and we get this structure. So there is a circle generated, there is a dotted circle generated, and when we are trying to find out the area, then what we see, that this is our del x, and for this if you drop a perpendicular over here, this is your y, and for this del x increment, the increment is here del y. So if this del x tends to be 0, then this del y also tends to be 0. Clear? So how to calculate the thing? Look at this. This is the elaborate expression given to us, that the radius of the circular face will then be y, because we have already see that particular structure that it is y, and then the radius of the other circular face will be also del y plus del y, because of the increment of del x. Now the disc is not a cylinder, but it is very close to this one, because this disc is having in its initial part the circular area and the final part of the circular area are not same, because the discs are actually small discs, but they are actually like something like that. So we can't claim it 100% cylinder, because in case of cylinder it has to be like this, but we can claim that it will be very close to this one, and if this is very small, then it will be a cylinder. So we are approximating the disc with the cylinder of thickness or height, whatever we can call, as del x and radius y. Now the volume of that particular cylinder is going to be del v, and this is pi r square h. We know that particular formula for the volume of the cylinder. So here pi is kept as it was, r means the y, look at this, there is the y, this is our r, and we are multiplying it by del x, because the height is here del x. So this is our del v. Now the volume of the solid of revolution is given by the whole volume. We have to consider not only the any part, so we have to consider the whole volume. So we are making limit del x tends to 0, x equal to a to x equal to b del v. Now del v is this, and what we see, what we get in the last formula, that ax dx, here we are getting the explicit structure, limit del x tends to 0, x tends to x equal to a to x equal to b pi y square del x. It will be converted to the formula for definite integration as integration a to b pi y square dx. So what we got, that if we have a car and if we want to generate the volume of revolution of this particular car with respect to x-axis, then the initial point and the final point is also given to us. Then the volume generated by this particular revolution will be integration a to b pi y square dx, where y is equal to fx, the curve by which the revolution we are doing, and we get the solid. Now the volume of a sphere will be calculated, because up to the last discussion we are doing some general observation, y is equal to fx. Now we are going to find out the volume of a sphere by this particular formula. So what we get, the equation is x square plus y square equal to r square. This represents the equation of a circle centered at origin and radius r. So what we can write, so the graph of the function y is equal to, because we need y square, so we have to represent this expression in terms of y equal to fx. So we can write it as y equal to root over r square minus x square, that is the semicircle, this one. Okay. Now imagine if you revolve this with respect to x-axis, then this semicircle will be generating the structure of a football, or the structure of a ball, or the structure of our globe. That means the sphere will be generated by the rotation of this semicircle with respect to x-axis. So if this visualization is clear, then the remaining calculations are not at all tough. So what we are doing, we are rotating this curve y equal to root over r square minus x square, but from where to where? It is from minus r to r. That is why it is given that it is minus r to r about the x-axis through 360 degree. Otherwise the sphere will not be generated. So it will start from here, it will end at here, and then only the sphere will be generated. So according to the formula what we have just discussed in the last page, what was that? Look at this, check one more time. This is nothing but this one. So we have to use this formula. So the formula gives us v is equal to integration a to b pi y square dx. So minus r to r pi r square minus x square dx. Pi is the constant, it will be kept outside. Then r square dx means r square x minus x square dx, so x cube by 3, and the lower limit is minus r, upper limit is plus r. So putting these two values in this particular format according to the rule of definite integration, we get it is pi into r cube minus r cube by 3 minus of r cube plus r cube by 3. After simplifying, we get this 4 pi r cube by 3. You know this formula of this sphere's volume from your childhood days. But look at this, we can establish that, we can generate this by this technique, that the volume of or the solid is generated by the revolution of a curve, and if the curve is this, then we can do that. Now I have a question for you, that is why this blank space is kept. Instead of this semicircle, if you consider this semicircle and if you rotate it with respect to y, then also it will be very much clear that the same sphere will be generated. My question is that you can take it as your home task also, that what the formula, what the technique we are going to adopt for this problem, so that we get the answer this one, because we are generating the same sphere, so the volume of two same sphere will be same. The visualization is done, the concept is also same. Just you have to think about the rotation of this particular structure instead of x-axis with respect to y-axis. So then what will be the lower limit, what will be the upper limit, you have to decide. What will be the functional structure or the formula, you have to decide. What will be the independent variable with respect to which you are going to integrate. Clear? So now proceeding further for next problem. we are getting another curve y is equal to x square minus 1, and it is also going to be rotated with respect to x-axis, obviously 360 degree, otherwise the solid will not be generated completely. So we have to find the volume of the solid generated by this with respect to x-axis. So from the wording of the question, what we get, a portion of the curve taps an area between itself and the x-axis, that means this one. Hence the curve must cross x-axis. Our job is to find out these crossing points, because otherwise we will not be able to find out the lower limit and the upper limit of the definite integration. So if it will intersect with x-axis, we can make this particular result is equal to 0, and solving them we will get the both the points, that x equal to 1 and x equal to minus 1 will be the intersecting points. So after that we will calculate the volume as follows. The same formula is applied over here. The lower limit and the upper limit are generated by this calculation. So it is substituted in the lower limit position and the upper limit position. And the function y is written, y is equal to x square minus 1 given. So y square will be x square minus 1 whole square. After that, it is merely a problem of your childhood days, that when you are going to calculate the result of one definite integration. And the result of definite integration here, if we solve it, we will get x square minus 1 whole square. So if you just make it x to the power 4, then minus 2x square plus 1, and after that if you integrate it with respect to x, the results will be x to the power 5 by 5 minus 2x cube by 3 plus x. After that, what is left? Your substitution of minus 1 and 1. So if you substitute 1 first, then you will get 1 by 5 minus 2 by 3 plus 1, then minus, then you will substitute minus 1 over here, and as they are all odd powers, you will get the signs are reversed, and after that simplifying you will get the result as 16 pi by 15. So this is the volume generated by the curve y is equal to x square minus 1 after full rotation, that means 360 degree rotation with respect to x-axis. This full information has to be present. We can't say that this is the result of the volume of the revolution of the y equal to x square minus 1 curve, because we are not giving the axis, we are not even specifying the starting point, ending point, we are not even specifying the rotation. That means that is it a full rotation or not, is it a partial rotation or not, or something like that. So these are very important points. We must explicitly understand that, and we must explicitly represent these ideas also while we are showing this problem or expressing these problems in anywhere. Now one very interesting thing is going to be discussed, that is, instead of a single curve, if there are two curves rotating and we have to find out the area, we have to find out the volume generated by the simultaneous revolution of both the curves. So it will be very much clear if we start with the concept with the examples. So here it is asked that we have to determine the volume of the solid obtained by rotating the portion of region bounded by y is equal to cube root of x and y is equal to x by 4. Please try to understand the thing first, and it is also given that this rotation is done about the y axis. So if only one curve is there, suppose this one, so after rotation it will give you some structure like this, and we can fill this to make it clear that it is a volume. And if you have a function like this one, and if you revolve with respect to y-axis, so it will give you the area like this. But if you want to find out the volume generated by the simultaneous revolution of these two curves, that is basically the part left here, this is actually rotating. So when this is going to rotate, this will create some feather like shape like this, and this feather is actually rotating to generate the concept. If you take the projection view from the top view, you will see that something is generated like this. You will make something, some container type shape, that there is something hollow area like here, and this is the solid area over here. These two are the solid parts, and this is a hollow part. If this visualization is clear, then only you can think that how to find out this volume, and your common sense will give you the volume after generating the result of this volume. And after generating the result of this volume, if you subtract them, then only this remaining part will be calculated. This is as simple as that. But instead of calculating both the volumes separately, we will use this particular concept, that this means the inner and outer radius for the ring, because it is actually a variable ring which is moving. Look at this, what we are trying to say here. This is the area which you have to consider. This is the area which you have to consider, and the volume generated by the area of this one. So when this ring is in the lower part, then there is some volume, then in the upper part, then in the upper part. So this ring is a floating ring, and this ring is actually creating the volume which is our desire. So there are some inner radius as well as some outer radius of this ring. And the functions we have to write in terms of y is equal to fx is given. We can write it as x equal to fy, because the rotation will be done with respect to y-axis. So let us check it after some time. Look at this. This is given as y equal to fx. So we have just converted it in terms of x equal to fy. And similarly, that this one is also written as x equal to fy, because the rotation is done with respect to y-axis. So the limits of the integration will be with respect to y, and then it has to be integrated with respect to dy. So it has to be fx, and that is why we need the conversion. So moving forward for the calculation, what we see, that this is our picture of the last problem, and the calculation will be something like that. Ay, that means the area which is generated as a floating part, or the area of this circular disc, is nothing but pi into this bigger area, bigger ring, the radius of the bigger ring, that is 4y, this one, and the area of the smaller ring, that is x equal to y cube, so it is y cube whole square. This you can see that this subtraction is actually giving you the clue that you are subtracting two volumes to get the result, but we are doing it in a straightforward general common step. So after getting the area or the cross-sectional area, we have nothing to calculate, just but from the bottom of the solid to the top we have to do for the generation of the volume, and at the bottom it is y equal to 0, and at the top it is y equal to 2. So the lower limit and upper limit will be 0 to 2. Look at this. And ay, which is already calculated in terms of y, the function of y, we have to substitute this ay in this position. We must give some bracket over here, and after that the simple integration will be performed. Lower limit and upper limit will be substituted, and the final result is received. So the calculation is not at all any difficult thing. The concept is important. So if you take this concept, we have already performed this problem, that rotating a curve about y-axis, but in general structure we have to see this, that x equal to fy is given, y equal to c to y equal to d, we have to do the calculation. So this rotation will be in this direction, and after rotating it you will get a structure something like that. And this volume is to be calculated, and it is nothing but the symmetrical structure of the rotation with respect to x-axis. So the formula will be this one, and this formula will be used to calculate. Already we have used in the last problem, obviously in some more updated problem we can say. So we are almost in the completion part of this class. We can think about some other problems also which are given in the assignments. Ultimately the question is to be understood, and then you can proceed for the solution. So assignments are there. Here you are getting some problems. The area and the surface is also asked. In some cases the volume is also asked. So this is the common question or common part 1 and 2. After watching both the things, you will solve the assignments. And to prepare this particular video lecture, I have taken the help from these references. And finally, I want to conclude this lecture. Thank you. Happy listening. Happy learning.